Number 30. Let's see, which situation is represented by the graph below? This may not be a teak anymore. We'll talk about it anyway. Which situation is represented by the graph below? So we have volume of lemonade in a pitcher and over time. So this means that it went down. This means it stayed still, and this means it went down. Remember, steeper lines mean faster. This is the same, you guys do these graphs in science with velocity and the cars and stuff like that. It's the same thing. So let's see. He has to stop for several seconds. He stopped. So he's pouring it from a pitcher at a constant rate, then he stopped, then poured it at a faster rate. This one poured lemonade into a pitcher. That doesn't make any sense. I started with lemonade and it's leaving. Poured lemonade, stopped, poured the rest at a slower rate. Nope, we said it's faster because it's steeper. Poured lemonade into a pitcher. Nope, test the F. Don't focus too much on that. I'm not sure you'll be tested on that. Actually, I'm almost certain you won't. An online music service lets customers download an unlimited number of songs for 25 cents each after paying a monthly fee of $5. The total amount of money a customer spends on music in dollars in a single month can be found using the function. What does the variable x represent in the function? So all of these things are represented in this function. You just have to pick which one is actually the x. So the total amount of money, that would be the y. The number of songs they download each month, that would be the x. The number of customers that use the music service, that's not part of it. The cost of downloading one song, that was 25 cents up here. So it can't be that. Probably you would have crossed those two out. Remember, totals are your end result. If you reread kind of what this says, you're doing 25 cents for each song. So 25 cents for each song. So if I asked you, you want to buy 4 songs, you have to think in your head, if I want to buy 4 songs, would that be the Y or the X? So make up an example in your head and see if it would work. For the money, if I spent $100, would $100 be the X or the Y? Okay, that'd be the Y, so that's not what I'm looking for. So make up something in your head as an example and think about where it would go in the problem. It's a good strategy to use on word problems. Function f is graphed. What is the range of the function? So range, we're looking for y values, so we can cross those off. We have down to -3 and up to 3. So that doesn't really help me eliminate anything. And I have a closed circle here, so that's going to include the -3. So that would be this symbol. And then an open circle up here does not include it, so that would be this symbol. So it would be D. Just so we can talk about this, if I was looking for the domain, the x values, I would have the -2 to the +4. The -2 is included, like that, and the +4 is not included, like that. So this one would be the domain. Just as a review. We're given a function. What's the value of f of 6? So remember, this means that x equals 6. So you could solve it. You could replace 6 right there, or use your calculator. I always put my fractions in parentheses. Oops, x squared plus 8x. Just to be sure that I don't mess it up. And then 6 is 72. You got that? 6, 72. When you're bubbling things in, You can put the 72 anywhere. You can put it right here, you can put it at the end, you can put it in the front, you can put it in the middle. The only thing you can't do is put like a 7 here and a 2 here. You can't skip spaces between your numbers. But otherwise you can put it wherever you want, and then just be sure to bubble. You do not have to bubble anything else. So don't put 0.00, like it doesn't matter, just leave it just like that. And then if it is negative, you have to fill in the negative. If it's positive, you do not have to fill in the positive. Number 47. Which expression is equivalent to blah, 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 blah? That's a mess. There's not really any tricks here. Because we have multiple variables, we can't just put this in the calculator and then put our answer choices in the calculator and compare tables. If there's only one variable, you could do that. But in this case, we just have to use order of operations and start to solve. So anything with parentheses, with numbers outside, we need to distribute things first. So we have 3c times 1/3 d. So you multiply the numbers first. 3 times 1/3 would just be 1. And then we have a c and a d. So we just have c times d. 3c times -9 is -27c. I'm going to run out of space. And then don't forget to distribute the negative. So we have -7c minus 7. And then plus dc plus 4d. Sorry, I did not plan that spacing out well. And then when we combine like terms, if I have c times d or d times c, that means the same thing. I can have 2 times 4 or 4 times 2 and it means the same. So CD and DC mean the same. So together I have 2 of them. And then combine all of my C's together. I have -34. Combine, just my one term of D's, and then -7. The answer is A. Oops. 51. This is our last one. It is 51. The scatter plot shows the relationship between the distance that students traveled to get to school and the number of times those students were tardy during the school year. The principal of the school wants to use this information to help him determine if there's a correlation between distance and the number of times tardy. Which statement is reasonable? Student travels 1.5 miles to get to school, will be tardy 9 times. Well, that doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. A student who travels more than 3 miles to get to school will be tardy at least 7 times during the school year. There's a nonlinear correlation or there's no correlation. Well, when you look at this data, a nonlinear correlation would be like our exponential scatter plots that we did, or even a quadratic scatter plot. There's nothing you could draw here. There's no pattern here. It doesn't matter. So that means that there's no correlation. These two statements, if there was a relationship, you could find a point that fit in there. But in this case, there's not. There's not really a relationship at all. So there's no correlation. And that is it for category 2.